Hello and welcome to another battle. This time is on Locust. It's a tier 3 light tank, premium tank, and this is a difficult battle because we are 2 tiers down, and I've got look at this. I mean, just look at this. Anyway, yes, I've got some heavy tanks against me. I've got 2 KV1s, 1 T1 heavy and a BDR G1B, and the map is Swamp, which is actually a pretty good map for a light tank like mine. So I start my game immediately by going off and spotting. I make a mistake here by knocking a tree down. That's pretty bad, especially considering there's a KV1 not too far from me who will certainly have spotted that tree coming down. So I abandoned this position. I have given myself away somewhat. There's also a Locust on the enemy side, and it's actually right across the other side. But I noticed 2 heavy tanks going on the top left, which is actually a very good place to be on this map because it allows to avoid the swamp, and you can see actually how much it can actually impair movements. I mean, I'm actually a little bit at danger in here of getting a bit stuck and possibly spotted and killed, but I managed to abandon this difficult situation. Even a Locust is not very agile in that kind of a terrain, and I decided to go and support those 2 heavy tanks and spot for them. The Locust is a good tank for active scouting. It also has a decent gun, so it can also deal some damage, and it is extremely maneuverable. Other than that, it's also a very, very pretty tank to look at, and we can see that here. It's actually got, I quite like the look of it. It's a little bit mean, you know. It's like a mini Sherman, basically. Okay, immediately I see and spot 2 heavy tanks, which is a T1 heavy and a KV1. So I've done my job, I've spotted them, so I get out of trouble because I would have no chance, well, very little chance against those tanks, and I decided to have refuge here in the middle of these 2 heavy tanks who will hopefully offer me some protection. I signal the team about the presence of those 2 heavy tanks, but they don't really seem to take much notice. This KV1 in front of me just do some rather useless back and forth, which I don't quite understand the meaning of. And at the same time I realise I'm a little bit stuck because I can't go back to the base. I can't go into the swamp because, as you can see, there are 3 or 4 enemy tanks in there, and I can't really stay there because I could easily be destroyed if the 2 heavy tanks decide to attack us. So what do? I take a very, very brave decision. I'm going to rush through the enemy line, and there you go. They start immediately firing at me, but luckily the Locust is fairly fast. I keep looking around just to make sure also to see where they are pointing the turret. I don't go for the base because it's a little bit too early and I don't want to get stuck there. So as you can see, I do just a very quick peek around the base and then come out. I can tell the artillery has spotted me, and then do a bit of a U-turn, slight U-turn, and what do I see? Oh, another artillery. So I try to fire at it, but he's quicker than me, and he does hit me and actually takes out half as much of my HP. So already my battle is a little bit compromised. So I head back towards the base, and I see that there is a tank destroyer.
Enemy armor is hit.
There's got problems. I try to help him destroy the enemy tank destroyer. However, my teammate drowns. Such is life. The game is not going bad at all. Actually, we're winning. As you can see now, we actually have an advantage of 4 heavy tanks against 3. So theoretically, this game could be won. But it's still a bit tough because our heavy tanks seem to be a little bit too further back for where they should be. This KV1 is finally making some progress, but the other heavy tank which is the KV1, is only at 10% and it's not really moving from where he is. And the two heavy tanks in the middle of the map are still pretty much where I left them a little while ago. So we got to do something here to break the spell. I try and aim at the BDR, which is only 4%. KV1 takes him out. So we got a bit more of a clear advantage. What I have to do now is basically get rid of the artillery. Get rid of the enemy artillery, and everything is a lot easier. So there's only one place where I haven't been yet, and it's near the base. In the meantime, we lose one KV1 tank, shot by another KV1 tank. So it's not looking as good as it was a moment ago, but we still have a fair advantage. Now I just have to take stock of the situation. It's a fairly good position here. I shouldn't be spotted. I make sure I don't knock down any tree or anything, so that I don't give away my position, especially considering that there's a dead enemy there who could still be watching the game. He might actually notice any movements around him, around the remains of his tank. And I'm just taking a little pause just to kind of see what happens. And it's okay, we still have an advantage, but if you take out our artillery, we've got 4 tanks against 2. But of the 4 tanks, one is me, and it's a light tank. So what do? Okay, we're gonna go for the base. We might even be able to capture, but what I will certainly do is hunt the artillery down. And just switching view there. There it is, hiding in the bomb craters of exactly in the base. Now the tactic I've used here is a tactic I use often. That is to engage auto aim and circle the enemy, especially the artillery. If you keep circling, it's very difficult for them to hit you. At the same time, because they were hiding, they have to move out. Otherwise, they become a too easy target for our artillery. In fact, just watch this. Boom. Dead. Our artillery destroyed the remainder of the artillery, and now the game looks a lot better. We are now in a clear lead, and I am by the base, so the next thing I do is capture. Where do I go? Well, it's a good idea to hide in a crater, but it's especially a good idea to keep a dead enemy tank, or a dead tank anyway, as cover. I know that the moment I start to capture, because I'm alone, the enemy KV1 or even the Matilda, but unlikely the Matilda because it's a very slow tank and it's too far from the map and is engaging our tank destroyer, as you can see from the mini-map, he won't come. The only one who might be coming is the KV1, which was around B5, B6. And as you can see, somebody's clicking there, probably me, to warn the other teammates to help me from this approaching KV1. The counter for the base capture goes extremely slow, and there he is, the KV1. These last few seconds are obviously particularly stressful. I've got my gold, as you can see, loaded just in case, my gold ammo, my premium ammo, just in case. But what I've got to rely on now is my concealment. I've got camo paint, I've got my camouflage net, I am in a crater hiding behind the tank. So in theory, and on slightly higher ground than the KV1, in theory, even if the KV1 pops up from around there, where I'm pointing my gun at, it might not be able to see me so quickly. And there he is. Luckily, I've only got just a few seconds to go, and basically the game is won. He's also being engaged by the other KV1, so that slows him down further. Game done. This is how you play with a light tank in a higher tier battle, and especially on the Locust. This is the typical Locust battle. A bit of active spotting, destroying the artillery, and base capture. Thank you for watching.